All right. Have you ever wondered how the months of the year got their names? Have you ever have years always started with January and ended with December? Some questions like somebody said, "What's a Gregorian calendar?" Well, we're going to be discussing that this week, and I'm going to start off with talking about the Gregorian calendar. That's the one we use today, and it is based off of the Roman calendar. The Roman calendar is believed to be invented by Romulus, the first king of Rome, around 753 BCE. That's before Common Era. All right, and these two guys were twin brothers raised by a wolf, I guess, and they fought over naming and placing where Rome or where the capital should be, and then um, so Romulus um, won a battle, and he got to name it Rome and after his name, and that's how it all started. And he came up with a calendar called the Roman calendar. So would you believe that January was not the first month of the year for a long time? The ancient Romans used different calendar system than we do. That's why we have the Gregorian today, and the Roman one was used for a lot longer, a long time ago, and their year began in March and ended in February, which kind of makes sense if you think about it, because what they did is they looked at spring as being like a new year, like kind of like a winter was like a dead time to them, and then they thought, well, the spring equinox is in March. They knew that. It's like, and that's when the sun, and the earth tilt to the sun. The sun rays go right on the equator there, and that's like the start of spring. And so they thought spring should be the first uh, month of, or March, I should say, should be the first um, month of the calendar. So even though our modern system, the Gregorian, might be quite different, um, we still use a lot of their names today. So that's why it's going to be important. And uh, this guy Numa, he added January and February to it because they first started off with just 10, and then he added two more at the end. So and then so let's look at January, even though that in the Roman one is not considered the first month. Um, what happened is this Pope Gregory adjusted the calendar then. They kept a lot of the same things with how the Romans named it, especially after adding the two more. But he thought that it should be on January 1st as the new year. Um, and so he came up with a new calendar, the Pope Gregory. So Gregorian calendar named after him. So if you look at January, so we're going to start with our Gregorian calendar, but just realize that all our names came from Roman influence again. So is named after the god Janus, which is the god of the gates and doors, or the god of beginning and end. So Janus here has two faces on him, and one looking forward and one looking back. Since a door can let you in and a door can let you out, he's looking at beginning and ends. So that's January, Janus. So, and again, we use the Gregorian calendar, not the Roman one anymore. So our second one is February. February is named after Februara, this purification festival. So again, that Numa guy, he came up and he said, "Hey, since this is the Roman guy again, when he added February, he said, well, that's the end of our year. Like since March is considered the Roman one. So he added that in, and he said that should be a time of washing and eating, celebrating family and cleaning, and getting ready for the new year. Kind of like we do like spring cleaning. We always say spring cleaning. Like let's it's been a long winter. Let's clean everything out because it's spring. And he came up with that idea, and he had it as a whole month of festivals. And they also, they cleaned, yep, but they also ate, and they also thought about their family, and so it was a time of cleaning things. So it was a big festival. So Februa was that festival. That's where we get our February from. So if February, that's right there. So March was actually the first month in the Roman calendar, and remember, we still got the names from there. It's our third now in the Gregorian, but March was the ancient Romans considered that since it's starting their new year. This is like remember March was the first month. Um, that all war should cease. And, it's a time of celebration. It's a transition between the old year and the new year. Since March was the first month of the year, they named it after Mars, the god of war. Since we're saying, hey, we're not going to do any wars. We're just going to chill out for this time. But we're going to honor you, Mars, the god of war, because this and name this month after you, because we're not doing any battles. So the MAR part is right here. So April, there's three kind of theories for this one. Historians can't come up with one, but some say April got its name from the Latin word meaning second. Kind of makes sense to me, but the second month, because remember, March was the Romans' first month, and April was the second. But another one said it came from to open, because flower buds are opening in spring. And still another one said April is named after Aphrodite, the goddess of love. So, because she's like springtime too and all that. And so, all of them make sense. The only thing that doesn't make sense as much is Aphrodite was, kind of is a Greek goddess versus a Roman. I'm kind of going still with the second one here, but that's just me. And May was named after Maya, the earth goddess for growing plants, which makes sense. A lot of plants are still growing there. And June was a popular month for weddings in Rome. So they named June after Juno, the queen of the gods. And she was a patroness of marriage and weddings. So she was like the goddess of marriage and weddings, Juno. The Greeks called her Hera. So Juno was in Rome. And that makes that makes sense, and it was a good time, it was, not too hot, and, there's a lot of plants growing still, and it was a good time for weddings, and it was pretty. So let's just review a little bit. So again, we have the Roman coming up, and remember, then we got Romulus and Remus kind of battling it out. Romulus won. So that's how we got Rome. And then he comes up with this calendar. Only has 10 months. And it does not have January, February for a while, and then they add it. And but again, March was considered their first month. And again, that kind of makes sense again, where that's March is springtime and like a renewing of the year. And again, remember, Newman was the guy who put January and February. He's Roman guy. So these were actually the two end ones. for the Roman calendar. So even though this was the two end ones, this is around the year 1582 that Pope Gregory said, and he made the Gregorian calendar. Um, he said this should be the first one. This should be the first one. And he started on January 1st. So most Western nations in this time then did switch over. Some and some countries did not for a long time. So again, this is named after the Janus, January. Got it. Gates and doors in the beginning and end. February, February. That big festival. Remember, this was the end of the year for the Romans. March was the first year, and they took it like a cease. They just chilled out. So they said, "Hey, since we're chilling, we have to name it after Mars, the god of war. We don't want him to get angry that we're chilling out, so we're gonna name this month after him." April has those three. Remember, I thought it was kind of the second one. Meaning the second, since it was the second month of that ancient calendar, Roman calendar. Maya for May, and June is Juno. That's the queen of the gods. So she was marriage and weddings, and they did a lot of weddings during that time. So this week you're just going to do the first 6 for spelling. I might even have it a challenge one where you can match it up again, like last time. Match up, maybe with Juno and June. Pretty easy on that one. May and Maya. So study up, and I hope you do well. Hope this was interesting.